A huge part of the storyline coming out continues to be Matt Ryan, their struggles in the red zone. What are your thoughts on the Falcons' start and Ryan in particular?
Well, first of all, I'm looking at the offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, and obviously he didn't have an impressive season last year, and certainly he didn't get off to a good start last night. Once again, you're struggling in the red zone, but I'm also going to look at Matt Ryan. This is not a rookie. This is not a novice. This is a guy that's been in the league for more than 10 years. He's one of the elite players in the game. He's one of the elite paid players in the game, making $30 million a year. At some point in time, when we talk about Drew Brees, we talk about Tom Brady, we talk about Aaron Rodgers, we talk about Big Ben Roethlisberger, we bring heat in his direction. My personal opinion is that I think Matt Ryan has gotten a pass. You've got one of the best receivers in the game of football in Julio Jones. Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman are no joke. Neither is Mohamed Sanu. You look at the speed, the athleticism, and the overall abilities of these players, you would expect more from Matt Ryan, who, by the way, is very, very good. The problem is that in big moments, he doesn't come through. And that's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why you're considered a star in the National Football League. And on far too many occasions, he's come up short. And remember, when they lost the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, we make a lot of noise about how they had a 25-point lead. They were up 28-3, and New England came back. Well, this you don't score and then keep the ball. You score and then you got to give it up to the opposing team, which means that somewhere along the way, Matt Ryan could have stopped the bleeding, and he didn't. And I don't think we bring that up enough.
Right, and from that moment forward, they lose Kyle Shanahan. Sarkisian comes in. They never looked totally comfortable almost all of last year. And, people will bring up the huge contract he gets during the offseason. Is that fair or not fair to bring up the money when a guy is not playing at his best?
Well, in this case, I understand you're going to compare him to the top elite quarterbacks and how much money they make, and rightfully so. But when we talk about young players that are getting paid a lot of money, that hope to ascend to top-tier status, like a Matthew Stafford or Jimmy Garoppolo, when we say they're going to be great, do we mean Aaron Rodgers great? Because they're making Matt Ryan top money. But I agree with your points. This is on the offensive coordinator. Julio Jones, who's a terrific receiver, and a lot of people are going to talk about them not connecting. 19 targets, I actually think that's too many. You just talked about the weapons that they have. Freeman and Coleman and Ridley and Sanu. You got to spread the football out. What it showed me is they pre-planned that they were going to get him involved. They were going to force feed him the ball 20s to 20s, but you still can't find a way to get it to him in the red zone. Over the last 2 years, they've tried it 20 times in the end zone. They've only connected once.
Despite the valid points that you make, Jalen Rose, I'm very disappointed with what I just heard come out of your mouth. And here is why.
Well, you cut me off 50% through what I was going to say.
I did not. I did no such thing. I was sitting there. I didn't say a word. I did no such thing.
You came over here. You talked at the top. You talked through the highlight. You talked for 3 minutes.
I did not talk through the highlight.
I started talking for 60 seconds, and here you go.
Time out. I did not talk through the highlight. Number two, this man is hosting the show. He asked me the question. I answered it. And then I watched you go on that soliloquy. You brought up Matthew Stafford. You brought up Jimmy Garoppolo.
Because you brought up money.
I'm saying to you, it's not just about the money. It's about stepping up to it. They got to show me something, too. I ain't letting them off the hook, but don't act like Matt Ryan don't get to show us something.
Matt Ryan has at least been league MVP.
So?
He at least led his team to a Super Bowl. But by no means am I here to absolve Matt Ryan for what I saw last night. But what I'm saying is I have to put more on the offensive coordinator. It was a lot different when Kyle Shanahan was there.
I brought up Steve Sarkisian, but I'm not going to put more accountability on his shoulders than Matt Ryan. He's not some puppy. He's not a novice breath smeller like Similac wet behind the ears. This man been in the league for a decade.
How did this happen? I asked a question about Matt. How in the world did this happen?
Because Jalen sometimes, man, he's just too daggone nice.
I'm just saying, like, Julio Jones is a terrific player, one of the best at any position in the league. But 19 times is way too many targets for him in last night's game. It was a wet track. The game was 45 minutes late. It was 26 penalties. They got stopped on the goal line at the beginning of the game and at the end of the game. At some point, you got to look at more than just the quarterback.
Well, notice I didn't interrupt you there because absolutely you make valid points, but the flip side to it is that this dude is that dude. He's Julio Jones, one of the top receivers in the game. Somebody you ignored the entire season last year. Did it ever occur to you, Jalen Rose, that Steve Sarkisian in the offseason went like this? Damn, I ain't do my job. I needed to get that man the ball more. I needed to make sure we're more effective in the red zone. I needed to make sure that this elite receiver exemplified that on the field because I need to call his number more. So let me put everybody on notice from week one. This dude is going to get the ball. Oh, by the way, he wanted to get paid. Odell Beckham Jr. just got paid. We know Antonio Brown getting paid. Julio Jones wanted to get paid. They threw a little money, extra dollars into his coffers, but it's nothing compared to what he's due to get once his contract expired. This man is looking at all of those things and saying, excuse me, teammate, I have to utilize him, particularly if I want to keep my job.
Correct. From 20 to 20. But then when we get into the red zone, they've tried that in the end zone the last 2 years 20 times and only have 1 touchdown. Let me give you a different example. DeAndre Hopkins, the last 2 years, 25 times in the end zone, came down with 12 touchdowns, regardless to who was the quarterback.
What's your point?
My point is, it's not only on Matt Ryan, it's on the offensive coordinator, and Julio has to be a little bit accountable as well.
So when
player.
Julio Jones runs a fade route on the left side of the end zone and Matt Ryan throws the ball in such a fashion that the momentum drives him out of the end zone as opposed to put him in a position where the big receiver that he is can go up there and make a play inbounds, that's on the offensive coordinator. That's not on Matt Ryan?
Julio is an animal, okay? He only caught 3 touchdowns the entire season last year.
And I'm saying the quarterback has something to do with it.
Of course he does.
All right,
no question
don't
about
act
it.
like he doesn't.
No question about it. But they force-fed Julio the ball yesterday at the detriment of trying to spread the football out for a team that has a lot of weapons.